Alright guys, BLM here, back with more. Hitman 2, we're continuing on. We are doing the Another Life quest here. We already killed the targets. The problem is that we need to also find clues. So that's the thing we're currently working on. Yeah, I guess there's a clue there. And a clue there. Where are we right now? Yeah. We're currently doing this other objective. I don't know what this is actually for, but it showed up on the map, so I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. Oh, it's just, we're not even detected anymore. Holy shit. I didn't realize that until now.
This one is from Cupcakes. The vegan cupcakes. Have this many people wanted to throw a single competition in recent season? This is a consequence of the Mega Alliance. Yeah, that's a lot of people that did not really want to play. It's not made for the most exciting endurance comp when you have so many people who are just trying to outlast a couple of different people.
It's a consequence of having Christmas on a season. Any season of Christmas, people just love throwing competitions.
Is that what it is?
For slightly different reasons. There's not one person that everyone in this house feels good with, but...
Janus is apparently engaged in a civil lawsuit with another resident of Whittleton Creek, James Batty, the plaintiff.
Okay, so that's the
wants
second
Janus to stop his annual landing of a helicopter.
We need one more clue.
Batty claims it interrupts the nesting birds and a species of frog that has been declared endangered. Must be a very important trip given his poor health.
Oh, so it wasn't so much like you got this, you can do it. It was more like technique of like oh yeah.
Okay, right. Let's go ahead and save here again.
Don't block your knees.
Your muscles work this way, so make sure you're doing this with your arms, guys.
Alright.
Yes, Christian.
I mean, at one point,
This
we were
one.
screaming about, like, the cold water is good because it's cooling off your muscles, and they're, like, all just shivering on the wall. I was like, you're not being helpful at all.
My favorite part was that she kept saying, okay, shake it out, like, when they would go upright. She, oh, shake it out, guys, shake it out. And then, like, they didn't really, like, understand what she meant by that,
Recording
or,
of
like,
some
how
sort.
it benefited them. So
The
they
note
sometimes
mentions
just, like,
another
take their
house.
arm and just kind of do, like,
Perhaps Cassidy is using one of the vacant buildings as a base of
like,
operations for
be like,
Justin.
shit, I guess, and then they go back.
Please stop yelling at me, man. If you can.
Alright, let's go ahead and save again.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited to write this Hitman video. I'm really hoping it turns out decent. At least from, again, I don't give a shit what other people think. At least, like, I hope that I'm able to structure in a way that I would, like... It's, oh yeah, I didn't talk about that. My, today, like, okay, so my YouTube channel, my mid-season power ranking for Big Brother came out. And it performed decent yesterday. Not great, but decent. Today, fuck me, man. Views really slowed down today. Today was not great. I think the really only saving grace of all this is the fact that CPM was so fucking high yesterday for... Again, like, these Big Brother videos, for some reason, CPM on them are really, really high. And because that, yesterday ended up being, like, despite views only being like 5,500 views, which is not particularly great for Saturday, like, yesterday ended up being, like, my third or fourth best day ever, revenue-wise. So that's kind of weird.
In the house. No, he is not. Not yet. Maybe the Big Brother episode's delayed in his market. Alright. Let's take a question from Anna. Why did Cody hang on as long as he did, even when Tyler was up here? He could have dropped before that. Look. What do you
I mean, I think right with Cody, if he would have dropped off any sooner, I would have been suspect. Like, when this competition started, I was like, this is really his to lose if he wants it. And so I was not, like, mad at him for dropping off as late as he did.
Let's do one more question and then let's talk about the spoilers, okay? Big Brother Addict says, I know Day wanted to see
We gotta get to the attic.
Was falling off in 12 minutes all strategy, or was it actually weak?
Oh.
Alright. Look. We don't know.
Yeah, I didn't love it. Even beyond the fact that I didn't think that she should have thrown the competition. She has people in the house that when they want to work with her, they want her to be able to win competitions. And Enzo in particular, who's not exactly a reliable ally, but somebody that would have been, I think, reluctant to target her, that would have, maybe kept her out of the
Just wanna
crosshairs,
go back to this
was
thing.
pissed at Davon for not lasting very long. He's like, well, what use is she to me if she can't win a competition? So I think it kind of backfired a little bit there.
Okay. We'll see if they can ever win a comp down the road.
I also don't know if the whole, like, oh, they're gonna keep me here because they know that I'm terrible at comps when you're also pretty decent on the challenge, and at least some people probably know that. Kinda, that's also
Did
kind of
players scout the challenge, Darren?
Well, they talk about how she does well at the challenge, but they do think that she's a bad competitor. The problem is that they also think David's not a great competitor. They already saw her as the worst competitor prior to the wall. So all she did was, I think, reinforce that idea a little
That's
bit.
the last piece of the puzzle
So
found.
much so
Oh, there we go.
pissed off
While we
There's no
didn't
way.
end up with the names or
and it
locations
didn't
of the
really take her off
Providence
anybody's
partners
radar
as we
that
had
she wasn't
hoped,
already
this
on.
at
In fact,
least
it
gives
put
us a
her on
clear
some
bead
radars.
on the constant.
And like I
We
said,
can
I think she
expect to
should have
find
won
him at the
this
annual
competition,
gathering
or
of
should
the
have
Arts
tried to win
Society
at the very
in
least. So,
November.
I didn't love the
It
move,
should be
although I do
enough.
think it made very good TV.
Excellent.
You know who might be
This
the next breakout
confirms that
star of
Janus and
the
the Constant will meet up
challenge?
soon.
Get Christmas on
I
the
don't think we'll
challenge.
be able to identify the partners today,
Tell her to.
but this is very
Honestly,
useful.
Like, oh, I don't know
The
if that's
tape
my
doesn't
scene.
specify where that
Oh,
meeting will
it's your
take
scene.
place, however.
they would eat her
We
up on the
need
challenge.
that
They would
final
love
bit,
it.
47.
Yeah, I feel
So,
like she doesn't
we know
want
that
it to be
Janus
her
is
scene.
expecting to leave Littleton Creek via
Knows how much it is
helicopter,
her scene.
and that he's
You know
going
it's
to
not
meet
her
the
scene,
Constant
Big Brother.
at some event. I think it's time
But she
to
keeps
look
saying she
inside
wants to come
Janus's
for Julie
house.
Chen's job, so you never know.
There we go. Did it.
That's the problem.
Good work.
She thinks she's
We
Julie
now know
Chen,
Janus
but
is
in
meeting with the
reality,
Constant at an
she's
event related to
He just
the
fucking says that.
We have an approximate date as well.
There we go. We might actually finish the game tonight.
All
At
right,
the pace that we're going.
This one's a visual. Okay, this is from Lauren, who says, "Who wore it better?" We have
Oh.
Danny Briones' sweater, and then on the right we have the blanket that was on the back of the couch on Roseanne.
I honestly was taken back at this visual. When I saw her in that sweater, I was like, I've seen this pattern before. Where is it from? Where is it from? So I'm so thankful for Lauren for tweeting this to just like close that loop in my head. I would say Danny wore pretty well. I didn't really have too many questions about that sweater, but I was.
That was only 15 minutes of in-game time.
I'm gonna go with the couch.
That took us like 45 in real time, wasn't it?
The couch wore it better.
Like 37. But yeah.
Mary, forget pumpkin spice latte season. Danny Briones is kicking off ugly sweater season in September.
Alright, here we go. We're at the end of the game. This is the final mission.
This shirt.
See?
The whole episode though, I was like, oh, look at this.
One of Providence's more
Fun colors and fashion. But that tweet did crack me up. It was really funny.
A
I
survivalist
just like
club
that,
for the
like,
global elite.
because I saw that tweet,
Billionaires
and I
preparing for a
normally just
global
ignore
collapse.
all
But now we
fashion
know the
related
Constant
tweets,
will attend their next
because
gathering.
I don't
So
care
where
that
is it?
much. So I
That's
just
the catch.
assumed that it was like,
The report
oh,
is
they're
redacted.
she wore
The
something
name is
that somebody
location.
wore in like the
So it's a
80s or
dead
whatever.
can't track
It
them,
wasn't
not
until
with a
just now that I
Vice
realized they were referring to the couch.
I know
That was what wore the
But
things
it
she
seems to
wore.
me Janus was the Arc Society's founder. So
Okay,
chances are
there you go.
they
All right.
want to pay their
That was
respect.
good. Thank you, Lauren. All right,
Track the
let's
coffin.
jump in and talk about the spoilers and the live feeds and talk about where we're at. Again, this is a little bit of a sped up week
right.
here in the Big Brother house
It
because
comes
the
back in
next
flashes.
episode is going to be on Tuesday. That means we will be
Fear,
back live with a
anger,
recap on Tuesday night. LFC Roundtable is going to shift to Wednesday night. So we actually have a night in between the veto episode and the eviction night this week for the aforementioned CMAs coming to CBS on Wednesday night. So we will be back Tuesday night if you're going to be jumping on. Now, Slop tomorrow, Brendan and Rachel are going to be calling in to talk about everything going on here in Big Brother 22. Very much looking forward to that. If you are leaving us, but for everybody else, let's talk about the spoilers.
So we stake it out.
The Office of Civil Defense has
Wait
issued
for
the
the
following
next
message. This is
Spoiler. Kidnapped one of the world's most powerful
what it
men.
means that an actual free Protective action should be taken.
Have you seen this? I got my megaphone to yell all my spoilers in over here.
There we go. Final mission in the game.
Was it you tonight? Because here's what I'll tell you, the feeds are currently down. Apparently there was another wall yeller.
Well, I'm on a podcast right now.
Hey, I'm just saying, movie magic can do wonders.
Yeah. You're yelling the spoilers in.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was trying to make it look like she couldn't win any comps.
Yeah. Okay.
Pick a lane.
All right, Terrence. So a lot to update us on this week, and this has been, I think, the most exciting week so far. I felt like this on Thursday night, and people were saying, no, it's going to be boring week, boring stuff is coming up, but there's a lot of excitement in the Big Brother streets these days.
Yes, all it takes is for, somebody else to win a competition, really.
Yeah, and powers. All right, so get us up to speed on where we are at.
I don't give a shit about the
heading
story
to
in this game.
Potential renomination.
All right, so here are the cliff notes here for you. After the nomination ceremony, David used his power to take himself off the block, and Danny decided to renom Tyler. Tyler was the replacement for David. She immediately told Tyler, "You're a pawn. You are safe." And that was the truth. She wants Tyler to stay on the block next to Kevin. In the
Yes,
meantime,
the pawn stays pawn.
pawn stays. He would be able to secure that the pawn stays pawn. Yeah, not looking good for Kevin. In the meantime, David is pretending that he did not save himself, that somebody else saved him. He's going around asking everybody in the house, "Did you save me?" Which none of them buy except for his own allies.
Bless his heart.
Yes. Then we get to the veto competition, where Devon wins her first competition in 3 seasons.
What was the comp?
It had something to do with like stacking, I think, that or some sort of like thing where you can screw yourself up. But I'm not entirely sure.
Is it a puzzle?
Exactly. It might have been some sort of puzzle, but that would be very fitting for Devon if she won a puzzle competition.
Okay.
Only to find out.
But so Devon has the veto, and she wants to use it on Kevin, which would force Danny to put up yet another person on the block. Although we are not super solid on whether she is going to use it or not, she refuses to tell even Kevin. She has yet to have a final conversation with Danny about whether she's going to use it or not, but she said multiple times that she may not tell anyone until the ceremony because she kind of wants Danny to be blindsided by it and have to force her into making another on-the-spot decision. So we're not entirely sure, but my money right now is on Devon using the veto on Kevin, which would mean that Danny needs to name another replacement. At this time, she will nominate Ian, who will likely go home, but Nicole is not going to take that lying down, and she is going to be fighting to try and keep Ian in the game, so we might have a little bit of a proxy war on our hands between Cody trying to keep Tyler, Nicole trying to keep Ian.
Alright,
There's a
so...
lot going on.
Yeah, what are these two, by the way? I don't... Oh, okay, these are the 2 DLCs. Okay, I do know that. Okay, New York and Haven now. I do know those are 2 DLCs. I just want to see something. Okay. So I don't own these. I do own Himmelstein. I don't think I own these other ones. Yeah, I thought I bought the Game of the Year edition. Turns out I only bought the standard for Hitman 2. I bought the Game of the Year edition for the first game. That's why I bought the Game of the Year edition.
Will be a change for Kevin.
But, oh well.
Okay. All right, Tara, why does Devon
Wait, this is on here too?
Danny?
What? Oh, okay. I own it on Hitman 1. Wait, I just realized, what the fuck? That's weird. I mean, again, I own them, but it's kind of interesting that they did that, though. that they're all within one game. I mean, you can, like, I really like that you can play the entirety of Hitman 1 within Hitman 2. It's actually pretty cool. I didn't download it, like I currently only have the original version of the download, but maybe I should switch that out. Because, like, would that be included as a Hitman? Like, can I delete my Hitman 1 then, if that's the case? If I download the legacy thing? Because that would obviously be, that would save a lot of space, considering Hitman 1 is, like, fucking 90 gigs. I might do that, actually, after we're done with this. Wait, what? Yeah, I mean, should we do it? Start it? Yeah, we're 15 minutes in. Let's do it. Start the final mission.
Attention, gentlemen. Our source on the islands just made a critical discovery. The
So I think this is going to be pretty difficult.
embedded in his neck. A failsafe in case he's compromised.
We should have expected something like this. So, we subdue the constant before he has time to...
Not that simple. The device is remote triggered, and during his stay on the island, 2 kill switches have been entrusted to twin sisters Zoe and Sophia Washington, 2 young, ambitious Providence operatives and newly appointed chairman of the Ark Society. Apparently, even the Constant is unaware of this arrangement.
Right, change of plans. We divide and conquer. 47 takes out the Washingtons, while I figure out a way to get the Constant off the island. It'll be tight. Once we're back at the ship, we should be able to surgically remove the ship.
Cody convinced her that
47, tell me about the targets. I know them from the Ark. Zoe and Sophia's father is president of a powerful conservative think tank. One of Providence's
another
prime
level
assets.
of this is, we talked
apples
about this
don't
on the
fall
live
far
updates,
from the
that
tree.
the
No
house
saints
guests
either.
were
According to
spoken
ICA
to
files,
about
the twins are pampered socialites who get their kicks
controversial
from treasure hunting.
comments that they
Commanding
had
a
been
band of trigger-happy
making
mercenaries,
jokes about
Zoe
Ian
and Sophia
rocking
prowl the world in
as
search
part
for
of
ancient
his
relics.
autism,
With little
and
regard
so
for local
this
culture,
is
or
something
even human
that
life,
is weighing
they
on
stop
Danny's
at
mind,
nothing
correct?
to claim their prize.
Yes, it was, you know, for
damage
a
they may
while
be,
during
but
this
safe
week,
to say,
she kept
they
saying,
have come.
Ian, I cannot touch Ian. I can't put him on
So we have
the
to
block.
kill those
I
2 and
can't
get
do
the other
it."
person out.
But I've been saying all week, Ian is the only option. I expect her to reconsider. She did ultimately reconsider. And she said to Cody, like, here's my thing about Ian.
Ah, shit,
Like, I'm
wrong one.
that guy. I'm gonna look real bad if I do this. And he said, we're all gonna look bad. I don't think
Does Cody
knows-
get what she's talking
I
about?
don't think he knows the full context, no. But
Alright,
that
let's
is
do it.
one of the reasons why she really doesn't want to do it. One of the reasons why, Davon, I just wanted her to not use the veto because I don't want to have to put up Ian because I will look really bad if I do.
Yeah.
I mean, it. All in all, probably most people had it right to not want to win this HOH because she's now having to put up so many different people. This is never good.
Alright, so let's see how this mission goes. It feels like I feel like it's gonna be a pain, but we'll see.
Mostly it's the only other main option that's not someone who's in one of her most recent alliances or longest lasting alliances.
Flip ends out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it so far, with the exception of Christmas one time, doesn't seem to be the kind of season where you're gonna get Nicole or Cody or Memphis or Enzo volunteering to go up on the block, especially if it's volunteering to go up against Tyler, who a lot of them don't want out anyway. So that's where
Founded
you're
by
kind
Janus
of
in 1991,
caught
the Ark
in this
Society is the
Ian
world's most
corner
exclusive club.
as well.
Its plutocratic members fear the downfall of civilization. They are willing
Right,
to pay
exactly.
huge sums to ensure
Which
their own survival.
could be an option.
Once a year,
if
they gather
she
here to shop the latest
has
survival
already
products
put up Tyler
and to
and
showcase
instead
new
tried to make
initiatives.
some kind of deal with him and Kevin and other people.
Alright,
Right.
a couple things
These
here.
gatherings are shrouded
okay,
in
if it is
mystery,
Tyler
so we have
versus
limited
Ian
intel
on
on
the
what to
block,
expect on the
one,
other side of the walls.
Christian, will Tyler
The Washington
campaign
are hosting
for
their
himself
first
to be
annual
voted out?
gathering as chairman of the Ark Society,
I
and the
don't think
Constant is
so. Not
known to
against Ian.
attend
It's the way
every
that
year.
he has a chance.
Beyond that,
Because I feel like he'll put it together. Because again, he doesn't want to be the first person.
I dare say
He doesn't want to be on jury.
He's talked very adamantly about not wanting to do that.
Well, how badly does he not want to be the first person on the jury?
Rob, he swung and he missed. And now it's too late for himself.
Alright, let's go ahead and
He can't
save.
take another swing. Now he's stuck there.
Now he's stuck there. That I had seen clips where Tyler said that he will not stay in the jury if he gets voted out this week.
Yes, he's talked about it. He's talked about like I'll just leave.
Okay.
I'll just leave. Whatever.
Wait, why have we not gotten an autosave since then?
Nullify his contract and would he not get paid?
Isn't that really weird?
So I feel like if I was Bailey and Davon and I heard that Tyler said that, it's like, oh wait, so you weren't willing to just walk away?
Yeah, how have we not gotten an autosave in 2 missions? I guess it's because we were like detected almost the entire time, right? But still, it's like, it's fucking weird.
But yes, I see the point. Yeah, okay. Mary, well, what do you think though that if it's Ian versus Tyler on the
They're
block,
both in there.
and now with a few days to
Constant
think
is
about
up
it,
there.
somebody like Nicole could think about like, oh, you know,
Yeah, what is this, the council?
we already got spoken to about making fun of Ian.
That masterpiece of a game. Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what the diary room has already told her. So I definitely think for Nicole, who's also the person in the house closest to Ian and has the most interest in keeping the other winner around, didn't want to get rid of Tyler, but I think she would be one of the biggest voices in Ian's corner here, for many different reasons. I could see a scenario where Tyler goes home, especially if Day doesn't want to keep him for some reason, if David somehow changes his mind with everything. I mean, there's a lot of flexible people here who could just decide to do it.
I mean, I think there's like one specific scenario where Tyler leaves. If he's against
I
Ian.
feel like it's probably the most vote so far this season where I'm not 100% sure who would go.
And I think I've been saying this all week. I think it's Cody's decision.
Yeah.
If Tyler leaves, it's because Cody decided he was okay with Tyler leaving. And as of right now, he does not seem okay with that. It's just a matter of
Okay, let's go and save.
somehow that he should send Tyler home.
Okay. All right. An intriguing week. I also wonder, and then this is the third scenario. Christian, we've seen Ian somewhat subdued, other than a little bit like the week that Kaser was going home, where he like shot out of the cannon for a day.
My
or
take is
two,
we
and
can't
then,
get through here.
quickly jump, back into hiding and being scared of everything that's going on in the house. Could this potentially, being up on the block, unlock Ian?
I think so. I mean, reading the live feed updates during the show tonight, it seems like Ian is also really does not want to be the first person in the jury and is talking about quitting if he ends up in that space. He was talking to Nicole F about it. So
Why
I can
was
see
this problem with being first person? Can I just say that it would be my dream to be first person on the jury?
Honestly,
Here's a whole house by yourself. Nobody can find you or talk to you.
right. And after weeks of being in the house with all of these people, I would want to leave to myself. But I can see a world where Ian turns up the game, but again, going back to what Jared says, it really seems like it's up to wherever Cody
Fuck off,
strikes.
why is it that guy?
But I guess there's nowhere to play backgammon with.
What?
I mean, this is, I think, is one of the reasons, and using this thread of, like, I just want to go home to my happy life is one of the reasons why we don't get all-star seasons that often.
Yeah.
About how they would need to be shorter seasons or on task.
Absolutely happened in the first All-Star season.
Yeah, they literally escaped, and they literally left where they were supposed to be.
I get that we're and I don't like this talk either. But what I don't like is this is proof that they're not real All-Stars, because in the original All-Star season we never would have seen this happen. People like Bailey and Janelle would never talk like this, except they did this season on feeds. Like, they're all talking like this. This is what happens when you pull back, players that have played before they feel entitled to whatever, right?
And especially with
So got through that.
Ian, who made it all the way to the end and seen how the proverbial sausage gets made all the way through, knowing that they probably have a very small chance of winning at this point, why? What is it worth to be the first person out in the jury? I understand the frustration there. Clearly, I'm mad. I'd be mad if they actually went through with it, but it definitely seems like a logical place for their brain to land on.
Karen, do we think that a post-jury buyback is in the cards for this season? They announced, like, hey, just so you know, the first 5 people are not coming back, but I know there's rumors about a potential 2-hour episode coming up in a couple of weeks on October 1st, I believe. Do you think that we could be looking at potentially one of these people coming back from the jury?
I don't think so. I think, you know, if it is October 1st, that's a bit early to do that. Unless next week is a double and then they get another person out and there's 4 by you know the first. I guess it's possible that they could do something like that, but it feels weird. It feels weird to do that with the quarantine effect. This is something that Ian talked about, that it makes more sense to do kind of a halting hex type deal or a reset button than a buyback, because with a buyback you're having to remove people and then reintroduce them. So you know, we'll see.
Okay, is that it? We'll see. Do we know when the veto ceremony is happening this week?
Should be tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. All right. Any word on what the wall yeller was up to tonight?
I don't know.
Or if he's just down right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing that's gonna help anything.
Question from the chat. If it was a tie between Tyler and Ian potentially, do we know what Danny would do?
I think she would vote up Tyler. Really? It's like, well, the thing is, like, if there's a tie, what the fuck is going on? Well, if it's a tie, that means that Nicole is on board, right?
If it does come to a tie, that's because all of the committee members voted for Tyler to stay and for Danny to stand up there without
Fuck.
that was a gunshot. Break the tie against Tyler would be not break the game, so I'm inclined to believe she won't do it.
She's gonna kick Ian out of the house with her sole vote live on national television.
She definitely does not want to have to do that now. That's why she's telling Nicole you're not allowed to give this empathy vote.
And if it is that situation where it's gonna end up with her needing to break the tie anyway, then she might as well just go ahead and try to get everyone in the house or more people on board with the Tyler thing and not make it seem like Tyler are keeping you because the rest of the alliance made me, but instead, like Taryn said before, form something with Tyler, whether it be, like people said, weaponizing him or just doing the good old-fashioned, hey, we hate each other, we've been trying to backdoor each other for weeks, no one will see it coming, that we were really close all along.
But then it almost seems like she just put herself back at square one, right? Because I'm going to assume that she's going to play in the HOH again, and then she's just going to try and play until Tyler's out again, so she can...
Exciting week.
She's not actually going to use her power.
Okay.
Why not? What is the problem?
She doesn't want to play again.
She shouldn't.
She doesn't want to...
Shouldn't have been HOH in the first place.
She doesn't want to reveal that she had a power, and she doesn't want to play in the HOH again. She doesn't want to be HOH again. So she currently plans on not using her power. Nicole has been like, well, if you're not going to use it, if I win, will you use it on me?
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's sort of where it stands here. She currently does not plan on using it again.
Here's what's so exciting about this week, because for 6 weeks, 7 weeks before the season even started, everybody's talking about, oh, Nicole Franzel, why does she always have to get her way? That Nicole Franzel, she always, whatever she wants, she gets. Potentially, this is the week, everybody, where Nicole Franzel and the people that want Ian to stay, your interests are aligned. Nicole Franzel is on your side.
Journalists really aren't even going to know what to do with that. I wouldn't say that I'm a Nicole Franzel fan, but
we're fucked. Like, we're so fucked here.
So, I'm excited to see what happens.
It's always funny to me, the second, a player that people hate had, their interests align with the audience, just, watching the impact that has on the audience. guys, I feel like Nicole just isn't that bad.
Yes.
You know, I feel like, you know, this is kind of like, I'm rooting for Nicole right now, guys. Is that okay?
Alright, whatever. We're gonna end here. I don't know. I'm kind of.
Like it is what
I don't know
happens.
if I want to do more.
Right.
than
Well, and
that.
that's
Like we're in a position where we're gonna finish the game tomorrow.
Oh,
It's a matter of like I don't really care enough to
I did not
put
buy
into it.
into
But,
any of this.
oh, we'll
And
see.
it's like this literal
but
phenomenon
that's it.
called fundamental attribution
I
error,
think
where like
about
when
it.
somebody's doing something that you like.